Hello, comrades, and welcome back to Steve on Steve Plays Crisis in the Kremlin. It sure has been a while. This is such a great game, and I've been wanting to play it on the channel again for a very long time, and there are many reasons for it in case you're interested. My previous series that I've done on this game, although a lot of fun, usually ended in sort of a disaster, and I didn't really play the game terribly well, and there are still many things that I didn't understand. And I think looking back on those videos, I think that I didn't really do the game justice. And so it's my intention in this series to kind of look back at the game and see what we could have done better, how it works, and really play the game well so that either the people who've watched me play it before can really get a satisfying conclusion, and other people who are interested in playing this game can actually see someone play it well instead of how I used to. And another reason is that the second game, the sequel to this Crisis in the Kremlin, I think it's called Cold War, was supposed to come out recently. I wanted to actually make this series before the supposed release date in May, but things got in the way, university, exams, all sorts of things, and the game got delayed, which was very lucky for me and lucky for all of us because it means that it'll be better and there'll be more content and it'll be better developed. And I wish them all the best and I hope they take all the time they need. And it's very exciting. And so before we play or explore the second game on this channel, I thought it's only appropriate that we give the old Crisis in the Kremlin a proper send off by playing with all more or less the same thing that we usually do, which is kind of trying to preserve the Soviet Union and beat the Americans and NATO. And I think I've actually figured out how to do it. I've been smashing my head against the wall for a while with this game, and I think I've cracked the code. There's been a few updates, there's been a few changes, how some things work, on tooltips, on information, and I think that's great. This game is very much, in my eyes, a complete game, a great experience. And seeing the many changes that are coming in the new game is at the same time exciting and also daunting. I played the demo a bit, and it's quite a lot more information to take in. But regardless, putting all of that aside, let's get into this game finally, because I have been waiting for this for a long time to be able to show you my strategy, at least that I figured out. I don't know if I'm the only one, but I'm sure I'm not the only one, but this strategy works for me. So just quickly going to settings so you can see that I'm playing on hard mode, in fact, so we can get achievements. And hopefully, if we're lucky, we can get the Zemshar achievement. I never have gotten so far because, to be honest, it's quite tedious at the end of the game to be doing all the subsidies in all the countries. Um, but hopefully I'll spare you that and kind of do a bit of a time lapse when the time comes for that. So let's start. We're going to start, of course, in 1985, in the earliest time, so we can have the most time to do what we need to do. And usually I used to start with this guy, with Grigory Romanov. But nowadays, I think it's better to create your own. Um, so the different policies I'll explain, because friendship, I think, is the best one. It allows you to maintain sort of better relations with America and spend less money on detente in the long term, because that is one of the biggest money drains in this game. Here we want to have full control, we don't want to let anyone liberalize. And here, of course, we want a planned economy. We will not be betraying socialism this time, comrades. Alright, we're back in our familiar seat, and let's bang through the pre-game events real quick. So, GDR, of course, the unrest and protests, and we transfer the power to the moderates. So this kind of strategy involves sort of flying under the radar a bit at the beginning, not trying to piss off the West too much, and that's reflected in our pre-game events because hopefully we can stay as high with them as possible for as long as possible and sort of destroy them without them even realizing it. Hungary, same thing, transfer power to moderates. Here I think it's best to strengthen atheistic propaganda. I never used to do this because I didn't really think religion matters, but nowadays I think that letting religion spread allows liberalization and disloyalty, basically. Czechoslovakia, same. We limit reforms using threats. And Lieberman's reform, of course, we go the opposite. Transfer the party's view to the idea of automation, because that's where the money is, and that's where communism is. Now, history, the space race, this is interesting. So here you can really stop it if you want to save the money, but it's not that expensive in the long run, and it does give you that extra jump in the science of the space stuff. Islamic Revolution, break relations, fuck them, we don't need them. Vysotsky, criticism is good for the party, of course. The Polish crisis, we support the transfer of power to the moderates. And Samantha Smith, we can invite her and recruit her, but that costs us money, and it doesn't really achieve anything, so I think just as a tourist, to help kind of relations be a bit cool. So, let's get some first things first out of the way. There's quite a lot of bookkeeping and stuff to do at the very beginning. So let's see, stats. We can see here that we can improve our oil output a little bit, all the way up to 14. Let's keep it on that. Let's go on to the autofilling of the reserve. Um, Hopefully at the beginning we'll be able to make a bit of money to invest into the things that we need to, and after that we will start making a nice profit before conditions really kind of before the oil crisis hits and a few other problems start messing with stuff. Let's get the science out of the way because I always forget about that. CCTV cameras and re-equipment of special services is important because it helps your KGB guys be on top of opposition and liberals and reformers, etc. Here for agriculture, you want to go down this path, it gives you more profit. And then the military path, of course, the precision weapons path is better. And this, the proton collider, why not? Eventually, we want to go to OGAS, but honestly, I've managed to win the game, and I say win the game without Zemshar, but still, defeat NATO and such, without doing OGAS. I used to think it was impossible, but I tried it today, and I could do it, so I think it's possible. I've been trying for a while. So, to the Council of Ministers, this is very important. It's a lot more important than I used to realize because there's this complex balance of all these different factors and numbers in the background, and everything has a big effect on everything that happens. So, I suggest taking a close look at all of these, or you can just follow what I do because I'll show you the ones that I think are the best. So here we can improve relations with America and France, and I think that's a very good one. And this one improves relations with all of them, and it reduces. Um, no, this is a bad one. This is the one you want to do at the end when you're actively fighting America. But at the beginning, if you have this one with Gromyka famously, um, relations will dip severely. So you see, this significantly really increases the relations with the United States and the liberalization. We don't really want liberalization too much. This is neutrality, that's also not bad. And this one improves relations with the USA by increasing liberalization. So this one is the same, but increases relations with the US and France. So I'm going to go with that one for now, and eventually we're going to want to change it. And actually last time I forgot to change it, so it's important to try to remember this council's ministers. So Minister of Internal Affairs, this guy increases revenue, which is nice, but loyalty decreases, and that's terrible. You want to maximize the loyalty of your republics for as long as possible. Well, actually, always you want it because it helps with everything. So here, increases the loyalty of the Union republics at the cost, at increased costs, and this seems like a no-brainer. You obviously want to go for that. Ministry of Defense increases loyalty of soldiers, but it reduces the strength of the army. At the beginning, you want your army to be strong because you want the Indian um, Kashmir war to happen successfully, and your army needs to be strong for that. So this improves relations with everyone by lowering the army. Again, we don't want to lower it. Increases the strength and number, but reduces relations. We don't want that either. And then here, this is kind of 50-50 depending on some other shit. So I think honestly the best one is this one for now. Later on, we want a much more kind of aggressive policy. But again, as I say at the beginning, when there's going to be all these economic issues at the start of the game, you really want to kind of cool it with antagonizing the West. And that's very different to how I used to play it. I used to go full kind of Stalinist, no compromise with the West kind of thing. And that's fun, but it doesn't work too well. So here, for the state planning committee, this is useless. This increases revenue, but loyalty decreases. This increases army strength. This increases the consumer goods and luxury. We really want this one. This one is a priority. As you'll figure out very soon, consumer goods are the center, um, of this strategy, basically. Supreme Council, we can't change it. Council of Ministers, increase revenue. Conservatives, promotes conservatives. Yeah, obviously we're going to have the guy who gives us just blind revenue. Ministry of Industry, we want the one that increases defense industry, heavy industry, and light industry. So all of our industries benefit. How could we possibly not want that? Ministry of Education, this one's quite a interesting choice. But I think ultimately the best one is this one, which reduces education liberalization and increases unity. You just have to remember to put some funding into education, because education will decrease, and that's going to be like one of those crisis events where you have to sink some emergency funds into it, and it's quite annoying. So then, Committee of State Security. This is the KGB, so for that we want this guy, Babkov, reduces corruption, opposition, liberalization, and freedom. So that's the guy. Main Intelligence Directorate, we want this guy, who's already on the job, reducing liberalization in the Warsaw Pact. For the Komsomol, we can't change it, for some reason, I'm not sure quite why. And then for the Ministry of Agriculture, we want the guy increasing competitiveness. So competitiveness is, as I discovered recently, the single most important thing in the game. Um, it seems that the developers of this game, in making it work this way, believe that the way that the Soviet Union had to win the Cold War was by commodity production and technology, essentially, and consumer industry. And it's a very, very interesting perspective and discussion. But we're not here to discuss that. We're here to put it into action. All of these other ministries, we can't really do anything with at the moment. But the council, we will promote Stalinists. It will take a while for them to get into power, but that's fine. Let's look at the map. So there's a few things we can start doing right from the very beginning. In France, we want to support Gaullists for now and forever until they get elected, and then we hopefully become friends with them. We will start funding the United Nations and shit like that. And hopefully we won't do too many aggressive things, although we will. Sadly, it's necessary for things to go well for us. Afghanistan, we will send them weapons. India, we will also send them weapons and try to start the war with Kashmir soon. Um, and have our army strength, which we can see over here. It should be this one, the number of army. This number needs to be, I think, 7 and above for you to trigger that event. And if it stays above 7, it keeps it likely that India wins, which you want. Because, of course, Pakistan in this game is the seat of the evil terrorists who are prolonging the war in Afghanistan. And they are therefore our enemies as the Soviet Union. Um, That's it for now over here, and now comes the fun part, the number crunching. Actually, I'm gonna go through one more day so I have a clean budget to start with. More pluralism, yes. Stalinists, please, to improve our council majority. Alright, and now here let's do some major reorganizing. I like to start with by slashing everything first. So let's get rid of all of these envelopes, all of this bribery and corruption. Just by getting rid of this, I'm pretty sure that the level of corruption in the Soviet Union drops enormously. These ones we will keep, though. Ideally, we even increase them later on if we have the money, if the need is there. I found a bit of success in keeping loyalty high, if you do things right. So these ones we keep, and they don't cause too much corruption, which is a bit silly, but hey ho. This we'll want to increase later. Environmental support, you want to go straight to 160 because you will be improving industry, and you don't want a Chernobyl to happen or just this ecological catastrophe event, I think it's called. Agriculture, we can comfortably cut to 100, as we always do. And let's go over here to imports, cut them all to 0. This will have consequences. It didn't used to say that in the game. I think it's quite funny that it says that. It's a bit low res as well, which makes it even funnier. Um, but yes, we must wean the Soviet people off of luxury foreign imports. We will do import substitution, in fact, of our own kind. Now, these salaries and fight against corruption, let's put it to 80. although I have no proof that that works. I like to put the state mechanism to 230 at the start. Um, Special services need to be quite high, so we'll keep an eye on that. We'll be back to that in a second, I mean to say. This is worth putting some dollars in. It helps with intellectuals' contentment, but because of all these choices that you're going to be making, freedom and liberalization is going to go down, and that's going to make the intellectuals really unhappy. So it seems that the best way is to just really fund the shit out of the KGB, really give them all the money in the world, and then they seem to solve the whole intellectuals' loyalty problem. At least I think so. And so where I like to start is with the industry. I want to really pump everything up. So the infrastructure, I think, it needs to be higher or at least match the highest of the industry numbers. Otherwise, you get problems. So I put this to 140, 140, 140, 140. It's important to increase your light industry, but it doesn't seem to matter. You don't seem to need to increase it that much. I think you get more money if you increase it, if you follow the other part of the strategy. And now I will finally reveal it to all of you. And the whole strategy is putting as much money as possible at the start into civil technology and computerization. These are the two most important things, especially civil technology, because civil technology basically equals competitiveness, right? The more you put into it, this little, where is it? This competitiveness marker, which you see is at 3, it's quite low, will steadily start rising. And as this rises, this will rise your export, which means your Soviet Union is making commodities that are more competitive with the Western ones, and thus everyone wants to buy them up. And you'll start making shitloads of cash. You'll be able to pay for all of your things that you need in this game, and it will also simultaneously severely undermine the American economy, especially if you're lucky. If you're in this time period where half of the world has kind of gone revolutionary communist, um, I've managed to make the USA fall in 1990, which maybe isn't that much to brag about, but then again, I'm not, I am not God. I'm not amazing at this game. I'm doing my best, and I think I've managed to do pretty well. So let's see. Let's go back to the economy. Let's pump 100 into this. I need to put money into KGB. I think I'm forgetting. I forgot to put money. I think I forgot to take out money from somewhere. Social expenses you want to keep high at the beginning because you're going to struggle to have enough commodities and stuff, but eventually your industry will pick up pace, and you can almost entirely get rid of this. It's like a bit of a free bit of money in the bank for later in the game. Soldier living expenses you also really want to pump up eventually. So it's a bit tricky because I want to give all this money to the special services. I'm going to give them this much. And then I'm going to give 70 to computerization. Is there perhaps somewhere else I can pinch a bit of money for now? I think honestly we're fine. Ideally we'll have more. I'm gonna pinch some, I think, from here, from state propaganda. It's a bit dangerous, and it's gonna tell me, oh, it didn't. It says that's okay. I'm gonna put that bit into civil technology and the rest into computerization. Computerization is very, very important also, almost as important as this, because it streamlines everything, right? It makes the whole bureaucracy flow smoother, less opportunities for corruption and things getting slowed down and getting lost and falling off trucks, that sort of thing. If everything is managed and logged and in a big computer system, that ever, it's part of this whole game's theory that automation, computerization is the way to finally have communism, which I don't honestly disagree with. I think that's great. All right, second phase of the country, we're gonna have moderate Stalinist, of course, and once we have enough of these, we're gonna start doing left terrorism in America. It helps destabilize them as well. Quite a lot, I think. So, also, we want to get China in our bloc as fast as possible, so we want this pact of friendship as soon as possible. Which means we want to hang on to our reserve for as long as possible, which is why the whole friendship with the West thing. So, strategic defensive initiative, Reagan is being a provocative asshole, trying to build weapons in space. We will not respond. We're not interested in beefing with America. So look, we're getting a bit of money. Pump that right back into civil technology. So look, competitiveness is increasing slowly but surely. You can see forgery is decreasing. The number of army is increasing. That's great. Um, Corruption is decreasing. That's also fantastic to hear. Opposition strength is increasing, which isn't great. Education and healthcare are also decreasing. But hopefully our KGB, you see the power of KGB is increasing. And therefore, things will start getting turned around. Luxuries are lacking a lot. You see that sucks. But essential commodities are improving, and hopefully luxuries, well, not hopefully, luxuries will start appearing soon. We just have to be patient. Let's go. Anti-alcohol campaign, great. So this is where you really get a lot of the money in this game is from anti-alcohol campaigns. So I'm gonna put it right back into, invest it right back into, what am I doing? Into civil technology, and then the rest into computerization. And this will slowly but surely, well, over the next couple of years, improve our economy substantially. Let's see. Aha, there we go. We've managed to start the war for Kashmir already, and we need to keep our army level. Where is it? You see, at 7 or above. Unhappy intellectuals. This was bound to happen. We will transfer them some money. What can we do? We don't want to start ignoring them because then the republics get unhappy, and then you're in for a ride. Shortage of goods. You know, it is what it is. We will purchase them from abroad. We can open the Ministry of Finance. We will open it. What else can we do? India is leading. You see, that's what we like to see. India will eventually win after like about a year, I think, of this. And then we can invite them into Comic-Con, which gives us more money from exports, etc. Let's see. You see competitiveness is slowly but surely increasing. All right, the Americans are onto us, but we still have a few more of these DEF CON things. Intellectuals are still unhappy. It's a bummer. You see, this event can really fuck you. I guess it's like an RNG thing, which can just keep happening again and again. And if it does, you can get fucked by it. It's annoying. Political opponents. Lead the party against. Who should we lead them against? Moderates, perhaps. No, or conservatives. I think moderates. Let's see. Council. Oof. Stalinists are still not in the majority. Relations with China are high, though. Can we do the pact of friendship? One. Oh, we don't have political points. I see. India is still leading in Kashmir. That's great. Campaign against racism. All right, this is a very important event. This is about South Africa. Here you want to join sanctions. I'm pretty sure this is free. This doesn't cost you anything. And then the next turn, there's this, the Congress of South African Trade Unions. Provide them full support. And look at that. Slap my salami, the guy's a commie. South Africa's, oof, we can't? Alright, come on. Decrushchevization. Yes. Start a full restoration of the image of Stalin. This is one of those things that probably would never happen, but whatever. Um, Pact of friendship? Yes, lovely. We're friends with China. This is just what we want to see. And South Africa is now a member of our glorious world revolution. Um, we will benefit by increasing exports to them. Let's see. Brazil, yep, meet with the Brazilian leader. Sure, Brazil's on our side for a little bit. They will import some of our commodities, hopefully. Acceleration, yes, you see this is an event that also gives you a bit of boost to your economy. This is an important event. Terrorists or hostages invade Egypt. It's fantastic. Um, I'm sorry, I'm going quite fast with these things because I don't want to waste people's time because I imagine people have watched this series and people have played this game and, you know, these events haven't changed that much throughout the years. Um, but I guess I'll try to go a bit slower on some of them. So, terrorists or hostages. In a recent issue, you can read that an Egyptian plane was recently captured, and it gives us apparently an excuse to invade Egypt. I think this depends on like your army strength and if you're Stalinists or someone else are in majority. Anyway, in any case, it's great. It gives us a free ally in Africa that will import our stuff. Um, India's still leading in Kashmir. That's great. Aldrich Ames was recruited in the USA. Use him one time. You don't want to spend too much money on it. There's no point. Uh, oh yeah, I forgot. 5-year plans. Oof. I can't change it to science yet. That's annoying. Um, we don't really want to change any of these things right now. That's fine. We will open the foreign ministry though. DEFCON is against decreasing. America is not liking our shenanigans, but that's okay. We'll be fine without them. Yeah. Soon we'll be able to increase our relations with China enough. Prisoner divisions in Afghanistan. Honestly, I can't really tell if this event makes a difference. Um, I guess it's hard to say really, but it's the end of the year, the first year of the game, and this video is already dragged on for a bit, so I think it's only a fair moment to stop this video. And I want to thank you all for watching, and thank you for being back for this series with me. It's really exciting to be playing this game again and sharing with you my thoughts and experiences. I really love this game. I love the studio. I'm not a big fan of the fact that they changed the name of their studio to Nostal Games. I guess it's an obvious choice given the current climate, but still, it's a very clumsy name. I think it sounds strange. But nevertheless, it's been a pleasure. Thank you all for watching. If you have any questions or any suggestions or any ideas for any games or any projects that I should consider or look at, please leave a comment below and give me all of your suggestions or any ideas and any thoughts. And also expect to see more of this, but also all sorts of other different content on this channel. I don't intend to just be doing this sort of thing. So once again, thank you, and I'll see you next time. All right, bye.